Hello, everybody, back again for another edition of DebtAintMyDaddy. How are you? Getting two today, two for one. Sometimes, like I said, things come to me right after the gym. So I always got to come up here and talk about it. My name is LJ Young, and I am a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them financially see outside the debt matrix. The debt matrix is a place where I lived for the first 40 years of my life. I couldn't see out. I believed that I wasn't anything without a credit score and lots of credit cards and long lines of credit. And then I stepped out of the debt matrix and I found out there's a whole new world. It's a debt-free world and it's lovely. It's nothing like it. Um, what I do to how I help people get out of debt, become debt free. I help them step out of the debt matrix by pointing out what I call the glitches in the debt matrix, things that don't make financial sense. And if it doesn't make mathematical sense, it doesn't make financial sense. CENTS. But when you're trapped in a debt matrix and you've been in debt all your life, you only speak debt. You have no idea. I had no idea the language of debt free even exists because I didn't believe you couldn't be debt. I didn't believe you could be debt free without striking or hitting the lottery, striking it rich or whatever, right? So it it was very difficult to retrain my brain when it comes to money. But anyway, let's go back to the topic. All right. So this is the this is the thing I've been finding since I've been helping people get out of debt, right? Everything starts with a person's credit report. I gather all three credit reports, match up all the information because when you're in debt, you don't really see certain things like, for example, these are here's a perfect example of a glitch in the debt matrix. When you go fill out an application, say like you checked your three credit scores before you went to whatever, like you're going to finance a car, right? And you said TransUnion was let's say like TransUnion was the highest credit score, right? Can you walk into that car lot and say, when you run my credit report, make sure you use the TransUnion score, right? You can't do that. You don't even think about it. You just go, ooh, cross my fingers. I hope I get this shiny new debt, right? That's what you just naturally do. That's a glitch in the debt matrix. It doesn't make sense. The car lot probably has a deal with TransUnion and they do this and make some money. It's just business. I'm not down in them or anything, right? But what I've come across is a lot of my clients that are understanding how my different approaches to helping them fix their credit and come out financially debt free. Now, I'm not like the average credit fixer person. I'm not. I don't do that. Those people, credit fixer people, help other people that believe in credit. All right, now that's not a bad thing. It's a business. I just don't believe in credit. You don't really need it, but there's people that do believe in it and they can't do without it. So credit fixer people helps them. Help them. I help credit fixer people. Now, I know that sounds arrogant or whatever, but it's not. Right? It's really not. But it's just math. But I'm going to show you. Well, anyway, a lot of these guys, a lot of my clients they're in the 500s, right? And when you have a bad credit score, you don't really get that much access to loans, right? Because your credit is bad, right? So they don't really have that much debt. So I want you to imagine my hand is a line, and right here is the number zero. Okay, the number zero. Now, remember the graphs in grade school? Anything below the zero is in a negative. So if I got a $500 ticket and I have no money in the bank, now I'm negative $500. That means I have no money. I'm in the hole. I mean, right here at zero, I had no money, but now I really don't have any money. And anything above zero is in the black. Okay, it's in the black. So that means you have cash in the bank. If you have $500 in the bank and you had no debt, you're in the black $500. See how that? So now, what I want you guys to see, because people in debt believe if somebody has an excellent credit score, they must have money, right? And I want you to understand that money and credit score have nothing to do with each other. Absolutely nothing. So when you look at a person with an 800 credit score, you don't know what's underneath the hood. They could be $500,000 in debt. Look at the national student loan debt. It's $1.5 trillion. So 9 times out of 10, this person with good credit probably is buried in student loan debt. Like doctors, You see them make all this money, but you don't know what's under the hood. They could be buried in student loan debt, right? So say for example, they have an 800 credit score, but $500,000 in debt. That's below zero. So if this line's a zero, they're $500,000 down below you. And say like the person with bad credit, they're usually like 20,000 in. But to a person that's not making a lot of money and in debt, $20,000 is a lot of money. But they don't realize, people in debt don't realize they're closer to zero than the person at 500. This is where you want to be. You want to get closer to zero. So once you break through, you're free. You're not in debt. You're free. That person with the high credit score is in deep debt. You don't know how much debt they're in. They could be making $300,000-$400,000, but they're $1 million or $2 million in debt. They're not making any money. Math doesn't care if they know this or not. This is why I want you to understand. When you see a doctor spend like 20 years to go to school, right? And I get it. I get how it works. 20 years to go to school. And then when they get out of school, they got $300,000-$400,000 in student loan debt. You think they really want to take another 5 years to pay off that debt? No, they want to live like a doctor. I totally get it. But what they don't understand is that if they stop and say, wait a minute, if they just ask 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their colleagues, do you still have your student loan debt? And think, damn, he's been 5 years in. Let me ask somebody 20 years, my elder. Yeah, you still got student loan debt? And they say yes. And then you ask 30 years. You still have student loan debt? And if you turn around and not do that, if you say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and make my doctor income. I'm going to go ahead and make my doctor income, but I'm going to still live the next 5 years like I've been when I was in school. Just do that. 5 years. 5 years. You pay that off, you will be free and you will be rich before you're 30. You'll be a multimillionaire before you're 30. And you never know. When you get older, you might not even want to be a doctor anymore. And when you ain't got that debt, you ain't got zero debt, no college debt, no nothing, you can change your mind and just, okay, I'm going to do something else. You can, because you don't need to make that money to make those kind of payments. See how that works? That's why it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with being smart and this and that. It's a mindset. Once you could have a low-paying job and be out of debt, and you see a doctor making all this money, but you don't know how much debt he's in. If he's $1 million, $2 million in debt, he's not making any money. Math says that no, he's not. Math says he's broke. Math says he's in the red. And when you get into black, I promise you, your whole world will change. My whole world has changed. I can do anything. I carried my student loan for like 11 years, right? 11. Not realizing I was working in the red. I just call it working in the red. And if you're working in the red while you have debt and you don't even know how much debt you have, and if you're working in the red, you're working for free. Because all your future earnings are promised to somebody else. Anytime you sign out a piece of paper and sign away you sign up for some kind of payments on something for 84 months, 30 months, same as cash, you're signing away your future earnings. And you're going further and further below zero. It's no different than like the temperature. If somebody walked up to you and said, whoo, it's 10 below zero, you'd be like, whoo, I know that's cold because it's under. No different than your money. When somebody asks you, hey, you know how much debt you're in? And you say, I don't know. Oh my God, you have no idea. Never say that, because you don't know who's asking you that. You're never going to become wealthy if you don't know how much debt you're in today. How can you become wealthy in the future if you don't know how much debt you're in today? That's math. Math says that's mathematically impossible. It's really simple. Stay above zero and you'll be rich. Nobody can scam you. Nobody can fool you, because people in debt do the same things. Okay, this is a little bit off, but I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by if you've been in debt all your life, you do debt things. All right, so what now I understand is this. When it comes to the money game, you cannot think individually. You must think collectively. Because think about it. If you were the only one on earth, how much would your money be worth? Where would you go buy anything? It wouldn't be worth anything because you would have nobody to buy from. So that's thinking individually. You must think collectively. Here's an example. The average, for example, the average is made up of millions of people. Now, whenever you hear them say the average student loan debt is $30,000, right? That's millions of people that owe $30,000 or more, right? If you paid yours off, because I know you might look at that big $1 trillion number and believe it doesn't have anything to do with you. It has everything to do with you because you're collectively owning that debt, right? They own you, right? You pay yours off. Now you're $30,000 richer than the average of millions of people. Whether they know this or not, that's 100% irrelevant. Math doesn't care how they feel about it. It's just math. It's just fifth grade math. See how that works? And here's one more example. Say like a person doing good in business, right? They have the debt mentality. So when they start making millions and millions, they naturally start wanting more and more and more, right? So usually what happens there, since they never understood money, they start blaming the system and saying there's too many taxes being taken out, and I'm not going to pay all these taxes. I could have this much money if I didn't pay all these taxes. Blah 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 blah. And then guess what? They start cheating the system. Now, what I want you guys to understand is this: people in debt have a pattern. This is why they have a pattern. They think individually. So when they start trying to cheat the system, they believe they're the only ones doing it. I don't know why they think like that, but I mean I do, because they think individually. They're not thinking collectively. They're not thinking whatever they're trying to do. The IRS gets practice at it daily because everybody in debt, everybody in the debt matrix does the same thing. Of course, the different variations, but it's all the same. So once they start, it's so easy to. If I was an IRS agent, this is all I would do. First, I would go look at their personal credit report. Their personal credit report will tell me everything I need to know about how they're going to handle their business finances. It's really that easy. It's not that hard. So that would be number one. I say, oh, okay, he's making all this money, but he hasn't taken care of this. Okay, so that means he's doing some same thing. He's doing the same habits in this area. So if I was an IRS agent, I would just look because everything's recorded. I would just watch, let him dig himself deep in the hole because he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, he knows he's cheating the system, but he doesn't know it's the same thing like millions of other people do. It's just the exact same thing. That person just thinks individually and not collectively. So they get practice of that every day. It's a pattern. And then once they dig so far, and then the next thing you know, the IRS knocks on the door. Hey, we need to talk to you. There's nothing you can do. You know why there's nothing they can do? Because they don't even know what they've done. They know they cheated, but they don't know the pattern's obvious. They don't know that. Get what I'm saying? Okay. All right. I hope you guys understood that. And those of you that are out there with bad credit and think your financial life is over and because you need to make more money, or this doctor or this lawyer, if I was a doctor or lawyer, I wouldn't. That's not true. That's imaginary. That's fictitious. Don't look at them and think they're rich. That's not true. 9 times out of 10, it's a facade. All you got to do is just look at the numbers. Look at student loan debt. Somebody's faking. One of those doctors or lawyers, they're not rich. They're faking. All you got to do is ask them, hey, you still got your student loan debt? They 10, 20 years out, you better stop listening. Never listen. Never take financial advice from a person that has a student loan that's older than their children. Never do that. Why would you do that? Who would sign on to keep a student a loan for 20, 30, 40 years? Why would you ever do that? Don't ever take financial advice from a person like that, ever. All right, you guys have a wonderful day.